Friends, welcome to the Foundation for Ethnic Understandings Civil Rights Leaders Forum. Our subject is the role of the Jewish community in combating racial justice and racial inequality. And we are so honored and so privileged to have one of the great icons of American society, the Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr., the founder and the president of the Rainbow Push Coalition, one of the most leading and foremost civil rights, religious, and political figures in our nation. For more than 15 years, Reverend Jackson has played such a pivotal global role in virtually every movement for peace, civil rights, empowerment, gender equality, and economic and social justice. So welcome, Reverend Jackson. I'd like to begin by asking you as to why do you think it took the senseless killing and the brutal murder of George Floyd to mobilize and galvanize the African American community and men and women from all walks of life across America? After all, there have been countless others who have been brutalized by such racial injustice and racial bias. What was it about this particular killing that brought about the tremendous response we are now seeing in the United States and worldwide?
When we make these cases public, we're dismissed as whining. We can't prove it, and they always believe the police. It was the filming of the asphyxiation of George Floyd, the public filming, that embarrassed white people, humiliated black people. White people, they didn't fit the narrative. Fact of the matter is, when Diallo was killed in New York, shot more than one time, too much silence. Abdullah Ramdan, the records, he nearly died at the police station in New York. Dismiss it. Trayvon, a little more traction. Michael Brown in New York, in Missouri, first Missouri. And somebody said, well, since all the police are getting away with this, with Trayvon or Diallo or Louima or Arizona, the Black Lives Matter. It was really a question, really. And it captured, the expression captured our attention. I was looking at like how they pictured the other day, Rabbi, at Howard University in 1932. The marching would stop lynching signs. They would say Black Lives Matter, and that day they didn't have really put on social media. Now, during that season of lynching of blacks, and some Jews I might add, blacks and Jews founded the NAACP together. Much of my childhood, Kibbe Kaplan was the president of NAACP. You know Kibbe Kaplan, right? We come together around, I mean, we're embarrassed by this. But now, most birds don't really how pervasive this thing is. You look at the kid in Colorado, what happened with, in Charleston, South Carolina, and Scott was shot. The cameras made no difference in the world. That's your question. The camera is the difference.
Reverend Jackson, you were Dr. King's right hand during the civil rights struggle. And the Jewish community played a very significant and particular role in its consistent support to Dr. King, to African Americans. Probably no segment of American society provided as much and as consistent support during the civil rights struggle. What would you say to the Jewish community? What role can we play today in combating racial injustice, racial inequality, and racial bias?
Take on some concrete projects and win. For example, blacks and Jews came together in 1909, 1910, trying to make lynching a federal crime. Lynching is not a federal crime today. Before Reverend Paul stopped it, blacks and Jews should coalesce picking his office in Washington, picking his office in Louisville. You should know that the Black Jewish presence fighting the injustice that we fought for a century.
Hmm.
The lynching program, that's something we can convince Ron Paul that this is not just a Black issue. There was some Jews mentioned in Tennessee, Ron Paul, early on, because the same forces are anti-Black can be anti-Jewish, same forces that's what we're coalescing in the first place. I'm saying let's make lynching program let's do that together. Secondly, let's begin to function together. You know, when these matters occur, when you do joint press conferences, you begin to educate people who watch about thousands at home on television. They begin to see us function together. So I think that we can do that. The third thing we can do, of course, is that we can write together, describe what's happening. America's in trouble today. You look at COVID-19, cold blue suit, the police,
Right.
poverty, and the hostile leadership of the White House is driving America into a hole. We can make it through this dark night. Begin to function together. I think let's make lynching for the crime, do that. So we raise resources. After all, many of our freedom allies, not our equality allies, people who are they're against barbarism, they're against blatant racism. And that's for equality. So we don't have, what does Black Lives Matter mean to Wall Street?
Mm-hmm.
You know how many deals go down and we're locked up. What does Black Lives Matter mean to the university system? We can't get in. What does it mean to Silicon Valley? What does it mean to the automotive industry? I like Jewish Alliance for the Rainbow as we take on describing what Black Lives Matter mean to them. Today they're like 4,000, 22,000 car dealerships. Less than 4,000 Black. When we recover, we never recover. And most dealerships were let out. You remember with me, we met in Harlem trying to get a Black car dealership in Harlem. And GM couldn't do it because Potemkin has the territorial rights, Southern New York and Northern Jersey, so that he had 7-8 Cadillac dealerships. We finally got a Chevrolet dealership, which we knew would not be a big one in Harlem. And when certainly Mr. Thompson, he was very nice, his family was nice. He had his grandchildren there, 5, 6 years old. Those children inherit. We're going to learn. Evidence and access means a lot. Inheritance and access means more. So we're locked out, and those who are locked in are locked by laws of inheritance and perpetuity. Inheritance, evidence and access means a lot. So what we do together about shared investment?
Reverend Jackson, you reference how we're going through a very difficult time in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic. And the fact is that this coronavirus has taken a disproportionate toll on Black and brown communities. So my question to you is, what steps are needed to protect the health, the welfare, and the well-being of Black and brown communities in the United States?
Well, even resolve the police issue, you will not resolve the health disparity issue. Secondly, comprehensive health care for everybody. Blacks and browns are disposed without health insurance. So when these crises occur, those who are least insured have gotten the least preparatory treatment so that Black and brown may have a sore breast, take Tylenol rather than mammogram, don't have health insurance. And now we must together determine health care for everybody. If the driver has the problem, the driven has the problem.
Mm-hmm.
If the servant has the problem, the servants have the problem, the servants have the problem.
Right.
So we can work together on comprehensive health care. That was abstract to some people, radical about Bernie Sanders and Ms. Warren 2 months ago. Now, clearly, everybody has to have health insurance. To revisit the health industry. Bernie Sanders has some ideas. I put forth an idea and plan back in 1980 when I was running president. We can do that together. That's my point, Reverend. You have to do things together and have some victories. The issue of access to dealerships and franchises and all that is good stuff.
Reverend Jackson, speaking of doing things together, the two of us have worked together for many years now to advance Black-Jewish relations in our country. And I've had the great honor of participating on an annual basis in the Wall Street Conference, addressing your ministerial luncheon, where you bring together hundreds and hundreds of leading African-American ministers from around the country. So we have this paradigm of the historic Black-Jewish alliance. In what ways can other faith communities, in what ways can interfaith leaders advance civil rights as a means of inspiring needed change and healing today?
Remember, many of our freedom allies and our equality allies. You fight against barbarism, they won't fight for equality. Because they must share some things. Sandy Wild, one of our architects of Reverend Bush Wall Street project, when he came to, the stock exchange was not honoring King Holiday. He met with Dick Grasso, led by Rainbow Push and Sandy Wild. It's a holiday now. It's really a black Jewish accomplishment. They're not another thing how they started 20 years ago. Doing things together back on that thing. We're also, when you really look at the doing joint ventures together and pension funds together, because the police, they patrol, they don't control. These are high public workers, lower middle class workers, sometimes middle class workers with a gun, the badge. The power, this force on violating people. But they're the gatekeepers, behind the gate of the real disparity, health disparity, education. Police have nothing to do with health disparities. Nothing to do with education disparities, nothing to do with capital disparities, income disparities, where people live. They're the gatekeepers. They run police patrol, they don't control. The control enforcement, what do the banks have to say about the Crime Commission report? Not what the police have to say about it. What the insurance companies have to say about the Crime Commission report? What does the entertainment industry have to say about the Crime Commission report? Well, I'm saying these industries locked us out, locked us into some federal positions. Must be more than they make a generous contribution to the COVID fund. They must do something different. Somebody asked me the other day, say, Aunt Jemima is on a box. I thought she was kind of stereotypical one. She really is a family out of Texas. Aunt Jemima is a family out of Texas. I said, well, she would apologize. I said, no, pay the family. Grab money. Royalties. There's all these years to sell. She needs money.
Right.
Restitution.
My last question, and again, thank you for this conversation. Anti-Semitism is on the rise in 2020. And some of the protests and demonstrations across the country took an ugly turn with synagogues and Jewish shops in LA being targeted and defaced. So, what words of solidarity can you offer the Jewish community in light of these unfortunate incidents?
Jewish allies cannot let whiteness run supreme over Judaism. We have become a religion. We have become a skin color for the most part. So again, doing things together is important. One of the concerns I have is look at this whole thing, race anti-black, anti-Jewish, anti-Asian. So the term came out of Asia. So begin to attack Chinese. Years I was president in 88, a guy named Dustin Chin was beat to death. And about the year that works in Detroit. The reason was they thought he was Japanese, he was Chinese. So you see, when these ugly things show up, anti-black, anti-Jewish, anti-Asian, anti-LGBT, we must coalesce and fight back. No group can withstand the strength of the anti-movement unless we fight together. When we fight, we win. The light always beats darkness. We're on the right side because we win. And that's our challenge, learn to do stuff. I know they're redundant. We do things together, Rabbi. We're going to do a joint press release on lynching and put Rand Paul on the spot. That's a big issue in the Congress today. I took it to the Congress 4 years ago. Most folks have forgotten lynching seems so far away, you know. They were from lynching to executions. And lynching never became a federal crime. Jane Bird killed in Texas, lynched, no federal crime. The killings we've seen in South Carolina, no federal crime. We should be killing in Minnesota, a federal crime. And it should be lynching. Killing in Brunswick, Georgia. We must make lynching a federal crime. It's not just symbolic. We send nooses now. We send lynching. What astonishes me is how many police, the cameras on this in defiance, choking people to death, even they still choking people.
Reverend Jackson, I want to thank you for taking out this time from your very busy schedule. You should know that my prayers are always with you for your good health. We continue to pray for you, to be inspired by you. And thank you. Thank you.
I guess my point, Rabbi, is that don't help us join us because the same people are racist and anti-Semitic as well. The same people who think blacks are inferior think Jews killed Jesus. And they take that to the nth ugly degree.
Correct.
Racism has deep roots in the rest of the religion. Deep roots in religious demagoguery. With the curse of sons of Ham. The whites being supreme, and those being inferior, Jews and money grabbers guilty of killing Jesus, and blacks don't work. All that stuff that throws us, we must come back together. That's all I'm really saying, right? We must come back together.
Thank you.
When we fight together, we win. We always win when we fight together. I look forward to working with you in the future. Please let's do something together about Louisville and Rand Paul. Because that's a central struggle there about blacks and Jews. But we somewhere, we after 64, 65, we kind of dropped the ball on it. But it's not just symbolic. Being lynching for the crime, I think, is a big deal. We should achieve that victory. Rand Paul cannot withstand the dignity of our struggle if we're persistent in our struggle.
Thank you, Reverend Jackson. The Jewish community is proud of its singular role during the civil rights struggle that you led with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and so many other distinguished civil rights leaders, and our solidarity and our demonstration of support with you and other African American leaders and the African American community as well.
Rabbi Hirschman just, well, he joined us. Rabbi Hirschman recognizing debt is the same pathology. So again, let's help each other. You need help, blacks need help. Our mutual help give us mutual reason to fight together. Let's fight together, my brother.
Thank you, Reverend Jackson. Stay well, and looking forward to visiting with you soon. Just be well, man.